Good morning, dear students. Today we discuss a topic on hardness testing. Hardness is very important mechanical properties. So, to characterize hardness of a particular material, we have to perform a hardness testing. Hardness testing basically done by various methods like Rockwell hardness tester, Brinell hardness tester, and Vickers tester, and Noob hardness tester. So there are variety of hardness testing machines are there, but most commonly Brinell and Rockwell hardness is used for testing of the material. Now, uh, before going to the hardness testing procedure, we have to understand basically what is the hardness. So hardness can be defined as the ability of material to resist scratch, abrasion, deformation, and indentation. So basically a material which resists scratch, abrasion, deformation, and indentation. Here the word come indentation. This is because of testing procedure we adopt where we use a intender. So the word comes here of the indentation. So let's we compare a glass and any steel equipment. So you can find very easily, it is very difficult to put a scratch on glass than steel. So glass is more harder than steel. You can see in ceramic tiles that is used in our floors, it is very hard to put a scratch on it. So it is harder, but it is not tougher as steel. When you break from a very lower height, it breaks. Glass breaks. But it is hard, but not tough. But when you take the case of steel, it is not break easily. So it is tougher, but not harder. So basically, you have to distinguish between the hardness and the toughness. So hardness does not means the strength, and toughness does not means the hardness. So they are very different properties. So you have to distinguish between the properties. So now we come to the uh, hardness testing. So the greater the hardness of the metal, greater is the resistance to its deformation. So if there is more harder material, it is not easy to deform it easily. So when we consider uh, two metal piece like aluminum and steel, steel is more harder as compared to aluminum. So it is easy to deform aluminum as compared to steel. So when you can see the picture of a Brinell hardness tester, here there is a intender may be of some hard material, hardened steel ball is there. And in Vickers hardness, there is diamond intender is used. So the basic idea of hardness testing is that a intender is pressed on a material for which hardness is to be tested with a certain load for a certain time. And when load is removed, a depression or a cavity is formed on a material, and by measuring the dimensions of that indentation or depression, you can assess the hardness of a material. Simply, if material is less harder, the depression or indentation is more as compared to the material which is harder. So harder material resists the indentation or deformation forced by a intender. So this is the basic concept of the hardness testing. So when we talk about the Brinell hardness testing, it consists of intending the test material. Intender is like a pin, pin shaped, or you can say pen shaped material in which the steel wall is mounted on it and it is pressed against the material. So in the Brinell hardness test method consists of intending the test material with a 10 mm diameter hardened steel or carbide ball subjected to a load of, it varies to 500 to 3000 kg. Load depends on the which material you are testing. So it varies from 500 to 3000 kg. For harder steel or some hot worked or cold worked steel, it goes to up to some higher side. But for aluminium or copper, it goes for lower side. And the full load is applied for 10 to 30 seconds, depending on the material. The diameter of the indentation left in the test material is measured with a low powered microscope. The indentation is measured with a microscope, so we can measure it accurately. And the Brinell hardness number is calculated by dividing the load applied by the surface area of the indentation. So how much load is applied and how much is the indentation or the cavity or depression is the form. So this is how the Brinell hardness testing works. Now these are the steps which I have already covered, and this is the formula. It's the 2p upon pi d minus under root d square minus small d square. This gives the BHA number or the hardness number. P is the load and d is the wall diameter and d is the small d is the indentation diameter in the mm. So this is the intender ball which pressed against a specimen, and a depression or impression or a indentation is formed on the material. In a Rockwell hardness, the procedure is somehow different as compared to the Brinell hardness. In Rockwell hardness, there are two types of load. First, a minor load is applied. You can see in the figure, a minor load is applied. Then a major load plus minor load is applied. Then minor load again. So we have to understand why the minor load is applied. Minor load is applied initially to remove any oxide layer or any surface contamination. So it is just to break all the surface irregularities, impurities. So the minor load is applied, and after application of minor load, a major load is applied. So this is the procedure which is totally different from the Brinell hardness. In a Rockwell hardness, a diamond cone or hardened steel ball is used as a intender, and minor load is still applied. Additional major load is applied with resulting increase in the penetration. So when a major load is applied, a penetration increases. When the equilibrium has again reached, the additional major load is removed, but the minor load which is applied earlier is still maintained. The permanent increase in depth of the penetration resulting from the application removal of the additional major load is used to calculate the Rockwell hardness number. So the Rockwell hardness number is most commonly used in the industries. So now this is about the impact testing, which gives the toughness. So hardness and toughness both are different properties, and the impact testing is we have test methods of impact testing, that is of IJOT test and Charpy's test. We will discuss in our next slide. Thank you very much for